guys, welcome to Tutorials Point. In this video, I will be giving you tips and tricks to deal with the writing module of the IELTS exam. So let's have a look at the overview. So basically, I will be giving you tips to help you imbibe the 4-step and 5-step method that we had come up with in our previous video. Apart from that, I will be giving you some additional tricks that you can use in your writing exam to help improve your score. To begin with, let's see how you can take a cue from the question itself. Yes, in the IELTS writing exam, the question plays a very important role. You can use the keywords from the question to create your answer. You can use synonyms of the keywords throughout your answer as well. The keyword can play a major role in helping build up your answer. Apart from that, do not wander away from the scope of the question. By this I mean that read the question carefully, understand what it is and write only around that topic. Once you start explaining, it happens that we tend to wander away from the topic. So be very careful, don't wander away from the topic. Stay within the scope of the question and write only what is required and what the question is asking of you. Then the summary and the conclusion. Like I had told you, your summary or your conclusion is the strongest part of your answer, and you can use the information derived from the question or some relevant topics related to the question to build your summary and your conclusion. I am repeating, your summary and your conclusion is very important, and you can also derive it from the question itself. Apart from that, let's have a look how you can apply the methods that we had created for improving your score. So for this, you will have to diligently follow every step of the 4-step and the 5-step method that we had come up with. Every single step is very crucial here to help you build a good answer. Do not skip even a single step of each of those methods. Only by following every single step will you be able to give your answer a good structure and a good flow. So structure and flow is very important to come up with a good answer. By this I mean, if you use these 4-step methods, you will be able to come up with a good introduction, followed by the stance you're taking, followed by the reasoning, and then a good strong conclusion. Apart from that, ensure that your answer is gripping and crisp. Do not deviate from the topic. Again, I'm emphasizing on this. The answer needs to be crisp. The answer needs to be revolving around the topic itself, and it needs to be gripping. It has to captivate the attention of the reader, who's going to be the examiner. Only then will your scores increase once the examiner understands that you're able to write a good strong answer. Now I will show you how you can apply the 4-step and the 5-step method respectively in an upcoming example. So now let's have a look at a sample for writing test 1. This is how your question paper will look. It will say you should spend about 20 minutes on the task. The graphs below give information about the computer ownership as a percentage for the population between 2002 and 2010 and by level of education for the years 2002 and 2010. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features, and make comparison where relevant. Write at least 150 words. So here, remember, the key criteria is you have to write a minimum of 150 words. Now let's have a look at the graph. So this is how the graph looks, what they have given. So following our 4-step method for writing, you have to begin with studying the graph and understanding all the material given on the graph. So to begin with, the first graph says computer ownership 2002 to 2010, and then you have the percentage on one axis and the year on the other axis, and the years are 2002, 2004, 2006, 2008 and 2010. And the percentage is 0, 20, 40, 60 and 80. So this is the key highlights of graph 1. Now moving on to graph 2, you can see computer ownership by level of education for the years 2002 and 2010. On one axis you have the level of education, on the other you have the percentage. So here we have two indicators on the graph, that is for 2002, which is a darker shade of grey, and for 2010, which is a lighter shade of grey. Now look at the level of education. To begin with, we have no high school diploma, then comes high school graduate, then college incomplete, then we have bachelor's degree, then we have postgraduate qualification. And whereas on the percentage side, we have percentage ranging from 0 to 100 with increments of 10. So this is about the educational level, and this is about just computer ownership. And we can see that there's a gradual increase in both the graphs. So these are the key things that you have to make note of on the question paper itself, or just highlight it as you're going through the graph. We've spotted the trends as well by seeing that there's a gradual increase every year in graph 1, percentage of ownership, computer ownership, whereas even in graph 2, we see there is a gradual increase in the percentage of ownership based on education. So this is like the trends that you have to look out for. So based on this, come up with a conclusion and prepare your answer accordingly, and make note of points on the question paper itself. Use the free space that is given to make note of all the points that you want to put in. Build a strong conclusion, and also the last and the most crucial step, plan the flow of your answer. So come up with a good introduction, then a statement that says the stance you're taking or what you have understood by the trends, and put together some example if you know any, and then plan the flow of your answer. The flow of your answer is very important here. So you need to plan the flow of the answer by making short notes in the blank space given on the question paper itself. So this is about the sample which I wanted to show you for writing test 1. Now let's have a look at the sample for writing test 2. So this is how your question will look for writing test 2, which will say, you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Write about the following topic. Even though organic fruits and vegetables are more expensive than conventional fruits and vegetables, they are worth the extra cost. Do you agree or disagree? Give reasons for your answers and include some examples that are relevant. Write about 250 words at least. So this is how your question paper will look. And to begin with, for this topic, I'll tell you how you can apply the 5-step method. So basically, the 5-step method, as you know, includes the introduction, statement of position, arguments supporting the topic, arguments against the topic, and conclusion. So here, to begin with, for introduction, you need to highlight all the keywords. The keywords here are organic fruits and vegetables, worth the extra cost, conventional fruits and vegetables. So the statement that I chose to take is organic fruits and vegetables are more healthy and worth the cost. Remember, this is my stance that I have taken, but it's up to you. You can even go against the topic and say no, that you do not believe that it's more healthy and hence worth the cost or anything like that. So since I've taken a stance supporting the topic, I have made some points which I would like to highlight for supporting my argument, which is less pesticides are used for growing for growing organic fruits and vegetables. It's good for health in the longer run and are naturally grown. Whereas against the topic, I said it's cheaper and hence feasible to everyone. So remember, you have to also write some points against the topic. Only then will you be able to build your case in the conclusion. I had told you this in my previous video. So now coming to the conclusion, I chose to say there is nothing more important than health, and soon this will be a normal way of cultivation. So I feel everything is going to go towards, in the future, cultivation is going to go towards complete organic. So this was my stance, and this is how I will build my conclusion and build my answer based on this entire setup. You can also have points 3 and 4 interchanged if you're going to go against the topic, and later you can come up with some statements for supporting the topic and then build your conclusion accordingly. So this was it about the samples that I wanted to show you of how to implement the 5-step and the 4-step method. Now I will be giving you some additional tips or tricks, you can call it, that will help you deal with your writing exam a little better. To begin with, your question paper is your worksheet. Like I had kept telling you in my previous videos, for the writing exam, your question paper is your playground. You can use it to the maximum extent to make notes, to highlight the keywords, plan the structure of your answer, write your conclusion, write the stance that you're taking, but use the question paper to the maximum extent before you start writing the answer on the answer sheet. Only if you use the question paper well will you be able to give your answer a good structure and write a good answer. Moving on, let's see. Since this is a writing exam, do remember your handwriting has to be neat, clean and clear. If the examiner will not be able to read what you have written, then you're going to lose marks there. Also ensure that your spellings are accurate, and the writing exam is all about vocabulary, language, grammar, spellings. So be very careful with all of these. Do not use abbreviations, do not use slang, do not use contractions or short forms. Elaborate everything that you want to write and be very careful with your language that you use. Refrain from using the same words over and over again. I understand, like most of us have this habit while writing casually. We try to write the same words over again and try to repeat a few sentences, but do not do this in the IELTS writing exam. Refrain from using the same words. If at all you have to, use synonyms or try to use some other word or try to change your writing style a little bit, but don't use the same words over and over again. Do not forget to write the minimum number of words, that is 150 words for task 1 and 250 words for task 2. This is very crucial in the writing exam. If you do not write the minimum number of words, you will end up losing marks. Last but not the least, like I have told you before also, review your question paper and your answer paper before you submit it. Especially your answer paper, review it for your spellings, for your grammar, for the minimum number of words. Check it, read it, and only then submit your answer sheet, because this is a writing exam and it will be crucially examined by the examiner. So this is about the additional tips and tricks. Let's have a look at the summary of what we have gone through in this video. So basically I gave you all some tips on how to adapt your 4-step and 5-step method to improve your scores. Apart from that, I gave you how you can use your question as well as the question paper to your advantage, and a few examples of how you can actually practically put to use the 4-step and 5-step method. So I hope you found this video useful, and in my upcoming video, I will be teaching you about the speaking module of the IELTS. Do stay tuned. Thank you.
Tutorialspoint.com. Simply easy learning.